Welcome back, and I honestly can't believe my eyes. It's 1 million BR changes. They are honestly not all too bad. Mainly the 14.3 planes are going to be going up. And we're looking at the Eurofighter Su-30 SM2, the Typhoons with the ASA Raiders, the Raviolis, both the CF3 and the MF3, and the JAS 39E actually goes to 14.3. Now we have the F-18E, which was going to be going to 14.7. But it is going to remain at 14.3. And I do think that this is fair because it's by far, or at least it was, the worst 14.3 in the game. And it probably still is because, well, the flight performance just doesn't exist. I'm not going to go too much into it. I made a video on it already. I talked about it. I ranted about it because I did think that it was pretty damn mediocre. But it remains at 14.3, and I do think it's somewhat fair. I can almost make an argument for it to go to 14.0, but with the compression that we have, I'd rather just move stuff up. And then we have some interesting planes. First off, we have the F-15A, 15J in the Israeli BAS going from 13.0 to 12.7. I did play this a little bit. You'll see it throughout this video. It's honestly pretty good. The flight performance is, of course, pretty exceptional. But the kit is still a little bit lacking. The radar isn't the best. AIM-7Ms are easy to defeat, even if it had a good radar. And the A9Ms are pretty okay, but they need to have certain situations arise for them to be really potent. Does that mean it's bad? No, 12.7, the matchmaker, is a little bit more forgiving. Honestly, I had a pretty decent time playing it. But you still run into Fox 3 slingers, and when you get fully up-tiered, flankers, R27ERs, Gripens, and other planes that will just absolutely ruin your day. It's not a completely broken pick. If you get fully down-tiered, however, which is a little bit more likely, it is actually pretty damn strong. Then we have the F-16A, and we have the F-16A for France, which goes from 13.0 to 12.7. And we have the Nets and the Nets Mod, which are both going from 12.7 to 12.3. This makes sense. Keep in mind that these are IR only, and they don't really have a place in this meta. Lowering them a little bit makes them slightly more competitive, but they still run into the same issue as they did before, where you don't have any missiles that you can shoot in the head on. Now the F-16A for France actually has Magic 2s, so at least you have IRCCM missiles, but they are still not all that competitive at this battle rating. But again, when you get fully down-tiered, this is pretty nasty stuff. Now the good thing is, opposed to the last time I made a video about these planes, now the contrail height is actually a lot higher, mostly around 9 kilometers depending on the map, which means that you can actually go up over the map and orbital strike people out of nowhere, which is of course the main way you are going to be killing people, other than trying to lock people into a dogfight. And that's a good thing here because you can flank, you can fly over the entire enemy team, and you can actually dive on the group, maybe missile 3 of them, and then you can dogfight the last one. Now this is of course an ideal situation. This doesn't really happen because mainly the games are over in 2 minutes flat. By the time you make your first pass, the game probably has already finished for the most part. Then we have the F-104S ASA going down. Can't really say much about this. It's fast, it's very limited, and I don't think that this thing was all that competitive at 12.0, and giving it a little bit more breathing room, not having to run into Fox 3 missiles, I think this is really not that big of an issue. Then we have some planes that really don't really change anything, that makes it a little bit more competitive. They can be a meme pick, but they are pretty mediocre. I'm talking about the A7s. The A7K is going from 11.3 to 11.0, and the A7E for both US and Japan is going from 10.7 to 10.3. Now the A7K only has AIM-9Ls really going for it, and of course ground ordnance, and the A7E only has AIM-9Gs and maybe the funny 30mm. Can hit some pretty nasty shots with it, but overall this is really not gonna be that good anyway. I might try it out again, have a bit of fun with it, but this is not a serious pick in RRB in the slightest. And then we have 2 pretty interesting ones. We have the Shenyang F5, and if you aren't aware, this is the Chinese MiG-17 Premium with an afterburner, a radar that really doesn't matter, and of course R3 missiles. And for a subsonic, this is a great plane. It's honestly really good, and if you are familiar with the LIM 5, you know what the performance is roughly like. The issue is that 9.0 isn't really all about Subsonics anymore. You are sharing the battle rating with CO-13Bs, F3Hs and Su-7s, and these planes really couldn't be any further apart if they wanted it to be. The battle ratings here make absolutely zero sense at all, and I'll get into that into a minute, because very first I want to take a look at the Yak-30D. We have it at 8.3 now, coming from 8.7, and this is honestly a great change. Honestly fantastic. It's a low speed monster, very agile at low speed, mediocre guns. It compresses terribly. You're not really allowed to go super fast, but keep in mind the LA-15 also isn't allowed to go fast, but that is kind of limited by simply blowing your wings off. And if you are curious about the LA-15, I won a 1v9 last week, and yes, I'm gonna be milking this for the rest of eternity. Feel free to check out that video in the description. But we have some other planes to check off on the list. We have the MB326K going from 7.0 to 7.3, and while the flight performance is still absolutely abhorrent to a certain degree, it's still decent enough at 7.0, considering we can bring 2 or 4 Aidens. Damn, that thing was a menace to props. You just spawn in, you go straight in, and you just hose everyone down, and you get 10 kills in your first fly out. It's kind of nuts. It's also not that great, and if this thing goes up to 7.7 ever, which wouldn't really surprise me considering the guns that it has, it's going to be turbo useless. So if you want to fly this thing, I recommend you fly it now, as you still can. And lastly, we have the POTAS 633 going from 1.7 to 1.3. So you can kill the level 2 with... It's the same thing, really. The battle rating at this level doesn't really matter all too much, mainly because everyone you fight is lobotomized, and if you are watching this stuck at 1.0, 1.7, this is not an insult, it just takes a little bit to pick up this game if you didn't start in Era B. But I very quickly just want to gloss over 9.0, because honestly the battle rating makes absolutely zero sense. We have the Super Mystere B2 at the same battle rating as the Su-7. The F3H is the same battle rating as the CO-13B, and the CO-13B shares the battle rating with the F5 now, which makes perfect sense. But if you take a look at 8.0 to 9.0, it's all marginal. A5 8.0, F25 8.3, CO-13A 8.7, CO-13B 9.0. These planes are an entire battle rating apart, and the changes, well, pretty slight. When you are an entire battle rating up, the difference is pretty big, and this makes complete sense. But then at 9.0 they're like, yeah, just throw everything together, it will be completely fine. And then it's the same thing if you take a look at props. When you look at the Yak-3 and the Yak-3E, they are not the same battle rating. The Yak-3E is a lower battle rating because it has a singular 50 cal less. And then the Su-7 shares the same battle rating as the Super Mystere. Make it make sense, Gaijin. Basically what I'm saying, we need more battle ratings. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.